Hey beautiful people, what's going on? Hope you're all doing amazingly well and staying safe and healthy within these circumstances. So I do have a little something at the end, so once this video is near to the end, please don't switch off. Tune in to the end to see what I've got planned for you. I've got a little announcement that I'm going to be doing, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I'll start off by just letting you know that I'm no mental health professional. These are just based on my own experiences, things that I feel that a lot of people go through, a lot of things that people deal with every single day, and I just think it's important to share. If you are new here, welcome. Hope you enjoy this series, and without further ado, let's get into today's Let's Talk Mentality. We're going to talk about bravery. So when I think of bravery, I actually think of a bear or like a lion, animals that you wouldn't want to step on their toes. They do what they've got to do for themselves. They don't necessarily have any fears, or they might have those fears, but they just take them and they just go forth and just do what they need to do, if that makes sense. But I think for some of us as well, like bravery, it doesn't mean let's go bungee jumping, let's go and get a huge tattoo on my back as my first tattoo, let's go swimming with great white sharks. I mean, obviously doing that, that's brave, but that's not what it means to be brave. From my experience, especially these past several years or so, being brave has been about really pushing myself out of my comfort zone, trying new things, engaging in new experiences, doing things that I know make me nervous, and I know when I'm in those situations I feel quite anxious, but then once I've done it, it just pushes me that little bit more. And sometimes it can be really daunting to face things, especially if you're on your own, if it's something brand new, if it's starting a new job, if it's moving to a new city, if it's meeting new friends. Things like that can really be nerve-wracking to do and really scary to try, but the fact that you're doing it is brave. It's a brave concept. It's part of what makes you brave. It's trying new things. Doesn't matter how nervous you are, how scared you are, you go forth and you do it, and that's an amazing thing to do. That's what being brave is all about. The more you are brave, the more steps you take to being brave, the less fearful you're going to find situations, the more comfortable you're going to feel. So my experiences of being brave, I can think of a time back in secondary school. I think I was lining up for something, assembly, and a girl behind me that was in my tutor group, she was getting bullied by these girls. They were just taunting her. I think they were trying to get her to move or something like that, and I don't know what it was. Normally I don't step in, but I just turned around, I grabbed one of the girls' hands and I just flung them out of the way, and I said, she doesn't want to move. Thinking back on it now, I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? Girl, like, that was a brave thing to do. But at the same time, it kind of backfired, because then the bullies were like, well, she's not supposed to be moving there if we're supposed to be in alphabetical order, like something stupid like that. Bullies don't really care about alphabetical order stuff, so I think it was just an excuse. And then the girl that I was brave and stood up for sort of turned around to me and was like, why did you do that? You shouldn't have done that. Even though that time being brave kind of didn't really make me feel great about myself, it did put in perspective that things that you do for yourself, taking those steps to being brave, is a good thing. For me, it meant at the time that sometimes you can't fight other people's battles, and that's okay, that's absolutely fine. For me, it was a bit of a wow moment, a bit of like an empowering, like, yeah, your girl is brave. Another thing I did that was more recent, last year I started pole for the first time, and that was me going into the room by myself. It was meeting new people that I'd never met before, something that I'd never tried before, and I was definitely nervous. And I came in halfway through the session when they already started, because I got told the wrong time. So it wasn't my fault and it was fine. At the time I just remember being really nervous and thinking, oh my god, what have I let myself into? But I knew that it was something that I really wanted to do. After doing the taster session a few months ago, it was something that I'd built myself up to do. It was something that I really wanted to take on, and I haven't looked back since. It's still an amazing part of me, and it's still being brave, like trying all these different moves, like some moves that I think, oh my gosh, I could not do that. But it's just taking those little steps and really thinking to yourself, instead of why can't I do it? Of course I can do it. I'm more motivated now, and I'm more pushing myself to do it. Like, you can do this. this, so it's definitely helped me be more brave in those circumstances. Starting conversations with people, I still find that extremely difficult. I don't know what it is, but obviously because with my social anxiety it really crops up sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't affect me at all, sometimes it does. Starting conversations with people can be really nerve-wracking, but then once you start doing it, you've cropped up the courage to make conversation with somebody, like you've done that before somebody else. So again, that's another brave thing to think about. Doing these videos, for example, that's a brave thing for me to do, because it's something that I know a lot of people go through and a lot of people struggle with, but it's something that not a lot of people want to openly talk about. It's quite a nerve-wracking thing to be open with and to feel comfortable with. And a couple of weeks ago I did a video on it's really okay to not be okay. I'll link that down below. In itself, that was a brave thing for me to do, because I've never done a video like that. I've never been that vulnerable to film myself whilst I'm in that vulnerable circumstance and put that out there for everyone to see. It was more the case of having that opportunity for people to reach out and for people to know for themselves that other people go through this. Like, it's not just one person, like loads of other people do. And that's a really, again, brave thing to do. And this is the thing, like, brave doesn't have to be these big circumstances. It's more about taking the smaller steps of bravery. There's an amazing book I'm reading at the moment. It's called Brave New Girl, and I'm loving the content that's in it. It's an amazing book. But one of the things that they mentioned in there the other day was something called micro bravery. Micro bravery is basically where you're taking the little steps to be less fearful. So all the examples that I've shown just there, those have been the little steps that have got me to where I am today. At times, of course, I still feel fearful and I still feel like that I'm not brave enough to do these things, or I'm not brave enough to do this degree that I'm currently doing. I'm not brave enough to do that. But you are brave enough. It just comes from inside, and it comes from that little thing where it's just like, just do it. That little voice in your head that's just telling you to do it is speaking very good things there. So it's just all about taking the little steps rather than putting yourself out there too much, because if you jump too far, you put yourself off automatically, because you think that that's going to happen every single time you have to be brave. You have to take this big leap, but really it's just taking the little steps and you feel more comfortable with things and more at ease with being brave more often. It can be really daunting. It does maximize your anxiety a lot more, because then you're kind of putting pressure on yourself to be this brave and to really enact on it. It can heighten your emotions and just make you think, oh my god, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? And you start worrying. The more you are brave and the more you are brave within circumstances, the easier it gets and the better you feel about yourself and the better you feel about really taking the actions to be brave. Bravery is happening right now. People are doing all sorts of things within the circumstances that are going on. People are fighting lives. They're looking after people that really aren't very well. They're putting themselves in danger, and you might not look at that as bravery, but it is. Like, that's an amazingly brave thing to do. People that are just in their homes, that are just staying safe and healthy, helping the NHS out as much as they possibly can, just taking each week as it comes, each day as it comes, you know, each hour as it comes. That's being brave. That's having that thing of it's going to be okay. You've just got to keep with it, and things will get better, and things do eventually feel more settled, and you feel more content with things and trying new things. So just some tips and advice that I've got about being brave, just from things that I've learned and that I've seen other people do that I think work really well, is to make a list of things. So make a list of things that you've always wanted to try, or things that you think, do you know what, like that would be an amazing thing to do. Set little goals for them at the side, so you're not making a list for the sake of it, but you're giving yourself a goal for each of them. I know this is hard within these circumstances at the minute because you can't really do much, but say for example you've always wanted to start YouTube and you've got a speciality that you like, you know, you love to do cooking and you want to show loads of people on YouTube all about it. You want to show people the recipes, all the tricks, tips. When are you going to do it? Are you going to start it this weekend? Are you going to start it next week? Are you going to plan for it? What are you going to plan? Like, how are you going to lay your videos out, kind of thing. Having a bit of a timetable for it, so you're not just making a list for the sake of making a list and just put it in your drawer, fold it away, and then just completely forget about it. Really think about your goals towards them, like when you want to achieve them, how you're going to do it. if you're going to collaborate with anyone else, if you're going to do lives for it as well, so do a live cooking session on how you make the best pancakes ever. So make a list, but have those goals to support them as well. Remember that it's baby steps. Do not take the big leap of faith and think now or never kind of thing, like it's a black and white thing. It doesn't have to be. I think when you take the little steps, each time you do them, you kind of reflect and then you think, okay, so that was great, that made me feel amazing, or that didn't really fulfill me with what I wanted it to. What can I do next time? What would be the next best thing to do? Sometimes we want things to happen so much that we'll just push and push and push, and then the more we push, the more pressure we feel, and then the more downhearted we can feel that we haven't got to where we want to be. Definitely take the baby steps to where you want to be. Take those micro bravery steps that we talked about earlier. Remember that everyone is fearful of something. Just because you're taking these micro bravery steps to keep being brave and stop yourself from being so fearful, it doesn't mean that if you haven't seen anybody else doing it or heard of it, nobody is scared of anything. Everybody is scared of something, but everybody has their own fears. Years ago, I used to be really nervous about making presentations and public speaking. I would stumble over my words sometimes, my mouth would go dry, sometimes I would forget what I was saying. Obviously, the more studying I was doing, the more presentations I would have to do, the more experience that I had, and now I've come to nearly the end of my BA year and I've been doing presentations left, right and centre, and it's made me more confident and made me feel a bit more content with how I present myself, a bit more mindful about how I want to approach things, how I want to come across as people. And you learn these things on the way, but it's all to do with experience, and it's all to do with taking those steps to being brave. We like that word, brave. Doing more of these things, it develops your confidence and also your assertiveness. So something else that I've learned from Brave New Girl is when you're taking the steps to be more brave, like you develop your assertiveness, you have that thing about you where you know what you want to accomplish, and if something isn't working or there's something that you want to try, it just gives you that bit of assertiveness to be like, well, actually, hang on, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. And it doesn't necessarily mean like being aggressive or being shouty. I think sometimes people can mistake assertiveness for having to be that way and having to delegate to people, but it's not at all. It's just being content with what you want. It's being content with what you know would work well or what could work well, just trying new things out, and it just develops your confidence and really makes you want to do it more. And it's an amazing thing when you get to that place. It's really amazing. It's going to feel uncomfortable before it feels comfortable. When you take these steps to being brave, you're not going to feel comfortable, especially if it's your first time trying this method or trying to be brave. It's not going to feel comfortable whatsoever. It's going to feel really weird. It's going to put you out of your comfort zone, but that's what extends your comfort zone. And your comfort zone is such an amazing and nice place to be, but you don't grow in your comfort zone, so you're always going to stay in that little place, which I know is lovely and amazing to be, but it's not going to develop you. It's not going to develop you as an individual. It's not going to do anything but put you in that same place that you've always been for however long it's been. That's not what we want. What we want is for you to try and to continue, and that's an amazing thing to do. Don't feel threatened if you feel uncomfortable. It's good to feel uncomfortable sometimes, because then that's what gets you in that comfortable state and think, do you know what, I can do that again. Like, that was easy peasy. Bring it on. Send me the next challenge. And this one last quote, this was a quote, I can't remember how long ago this was. I think I saw it on Pinterest, but it really made a lot of sense, and it was, if you think you can, you're probably right, and if you think you can't, you're probably right. How right is that? It's so weird. How right is that? But it's so true, because it really just means that when you believe that you can do something, that you're able to do things and you're able to push yourself and try new things, then of course you're going to be right. Your self-belief makes you think that you can do these things. But if you're thinking, I can't try out for new things, I can't make conversations with new people, I can't do public speaking, you've automatically told yourself that you can't do something. So if you keep telling yourself that you can't do these things, then you're going to believe that, and then that's going to feel right to you. The more you tell yourself something, the more right it's going to be for you. So you need to be telling yourself that you can do these things. You can go up above and beyond and do these amazing, incredible things that before you would never have even thought to try. You would never have thought you'd been brave enough to do. But I'd let you in on a little secret. You can. You can do these things. If I can do these things, if I can start a YouTube channel, if I can do a BA degree, if I can do fitness and love it and inspire people and be more talkative and whatnot, you can too. I'm at a place where I haven't even started. Like, I'm at a place where I feel more comfortable with things, but I want to feel more comfortable with things. I want to be as comfortable with things as possible. I want to be that brave new girl. I want to be that person that I can always look at and think, she's brave. She's doing brave things for herself. She's overcoming her fears and she's doing it because she is brave, and you are too. That was quite like a session, but yeah, it's so true. Like, bravery just is one of those things where it can feel so daunting and really niggle you, especially if you feel like you've had those situations where you've tried things before and it's just not worked, or you've gone to do something and you thought, you know what, I'm not doing this, and that's okay. But I think you'll thank yourself more when you try these new things, and when you try to be brave more often, you just have that security with yourself and you love yourself that even more. I mean, that's what we're all doing at the end of the day, isn't it? Just trying. That's all that really matters. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give this a massive thumbs up if you did. Comment down below if you want to talk about any other mentality videos that you'd like to see in the future. I've got a whole list of stuff, but it is nice to have an opinion on what you guys think would be amazing to talk about as well. So the announcement that I want to say is I'm going to be trialing a new live on my Instagrams on Sunday. They're called Self Sunday at 7. It is what it says on the tin. We're going to be talking all about yourself on Sunday at 7 p.m. I'm really excited about this. It's going to be a new segment that I'm going to be trialing. All will be explained then. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Stay healthy, stay safe, take care.